Yo, yo, yo. What's up, guys? It's Overrated Gamer. We're back with another live stream. And we are back with another one here on the channel. So I was almost tempted to kind of like, I was kind of back and forth like with what I wanted to kind of do. I think I have an idea of what I might do here. Because I did not get called in early, at least not yet anyway. And I might use that to my advantage on continuing content with what I said I was going to do. So, give me a second here. Pull it up. So we're on episodes 9 and 10 of the War Gone Mad series, Impending Doom and Black Heart. So one of them is 30 minutes, one of them is 46 minutes. So not too shabby. But you can kind of see why I kind of moved it off. In the beginning, or in the afternoon there, because I was dead. I couldn't get myself to get moving that fast. And that's kind of what happened. Appreciate the new subscribers, by the way. Oh, I thought I was going to connect to my PS5 there for a second. Huh. Alright. Damn. Alrighty, so Dan reviews his channel is in the description, so definitely do check out his channel, link below, as well as the playlist that I'm reacting to, also in the description. Check out his series. Would be appreciating all credit goes to him. Of course, he's the one that making this series. And all that. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to see where I'm at. What I might possibly do is I might, take a nap, or get some sleep, and then, wake up, I don't want to say decently early, you know what I mean, but kind of do that, and then just kind of continue the content, you know what I mean, until I can, you know what I mean, essentially. And who knows, I might be able to do all of it before having to go in. You never know. So I might possibly do that. It's just these 10-hour days have been kind of tiring, if you know what I mean. So it's been a little bit harder for me to jump into it. Ding, 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 ding. With not a crap ton of sleep, you know what I mean? It's kind of on and off with that. So yeah. But I'm at least gonna do this one for sure. War Gone Mad. And I think The Walking Dead too. Though I don't think I'm gonna do this right after that. I might, like I said, I might go sleep. So the sleep stream, I'm gonna do that tomorrow morning instead of this morning. I'm gonna change it. I'll make a post about it real quick. Alright, there you guys go. The Last of Us Part 2. Pinned message in the description. Yeah, appreciate the new subscribers, guys. We're already almost like halfway to 6.5K. That's insane. That is insanity. I can't thank you guys enough. Truly, you guys are blowing me out of the water. I mean, damn. I'm beyond impressed. So I thank you, truly. We're gonna keep the grind going, 100%. So like I said, check out my man channel and the playlist, both in the description. Check them out, show them some love. Tell them Ray sent you. Smash a like, I would appreciate it. 7 likes, and I'll continue episodes 11 and 12 sooner rather than later. So we're just going to jump right into it right away. Just the vibe as we go. So like I said, I'll base it on this stream. Oh, wait, guys. Kind of early, and then continue the rest of it from there. Probably more wide awake.
World Gone Mad, Season 2, Episode 9, Impending Doom.
Alrighty. There you go. These last 2 episodes were crazy.
Well, shit. I fucked up. I thought I could let go. Unfortunately for you, you also fucked up. But even though we both fucked up, and this whole situation is fucked up, you still fucked up.
Jesus Christ. Damn, what a way to start. How many times was that? 4 or 5 times? Oh, that's crazy.
Flashback to 32 years before the apocalypse. We see a father and son sitting on the roof of their house. The father says, "You don't have to be sad." The kid says, "Dad, you could die." The dad says, "No, why would you say that?" The kid says, "Mom told me. Afghanistan is a very dangerous place. Please, Dad, I don't want you to go." The dad hugs him and says, "I will be fine, son. That is a promise to you. We have to protect this country. And in order to do that, we will have to face the enemy. Otherwise, the enemy will turn us. And we can't let that happen. My father told me this when I was growing up. And now, I'm going to say the same thing to you." And the son asks, "What?" "The best revenge is to not be like your enemy. Remember that." The kid starts tearing up and says, "I'm going to miss you." The dad gives him his hat and says, "Here. You take it. Every time you wear it, I want you to remember, I am always with you." And the kid takes the hat and puts it on.
Oh, damn. Very heartfelt.
as we see the kid put on his hat, and we cut to the present timeline, and Dave still has the hat after all these years. And one of his men says, "We're ready to head back to the camp, boss." Dave says, "All right, I'll be right there."
Oh, so that was Dave. You ain't gonna make me like Dave. Nah, fuck Dave. Fucking Dave. No. Nice heartfelt flashback though. It was good. But you ain't gonna make
Chris
me
has
like
been walking for a bit, and he picks up the walkie and radios his men. "This is Chris, do you copy?" The men respond, and Chris says, "We got ambushed by these people on the road. I'm out here on my own." Chris purposely sounds scared, and the Viper says, "Yes, sir, where are you? We'll come get you." Chris says, "I'm at mile 66 south of the highway." The Viper says, "Copy, we'll be there soon." Chris says, "Bring fighters, we're gonna need them." The Viper says, "Copy that."
I got a typo there. So 76. It's 66. Minor typo.
Far out from the base, Dave and some of his men are on a hunt. We see a few tents up, a campfire going, and we see Dave and about 15 other men. And they're all out on this hunt for the army base. Dave is saying, "We gotta find some food. And soon." And one of his men named Greg says, "Sir, we've been out here for a while, and we're traveling out way further than we said we would." Dave says, "Yeah, it's good. Supplies has been low, and because of what we're doing, it won't." Greg says, "Still, boss." Dave looks at him and says, "We'll go back tomorrow, but before, we're going to check that town I was telling you about. Then we'll turn back." Greg says, "Sounds good to me." The guys earlier caught a few fish. Dave says, "We're eating good tonight, boys."
Hey.
We see Dave's group driving on the road. Very early in the morning, Dave says, "This is our last day. We bring back what we have to the base tonight. We should be home by tonight if we're quick enough. So, let's be quick, smart, and don't fuck around out there." And one of his guys says, "Yes, sir." And then Dave tries to radio Kezia back home. "Kezia, girl, do you copy?" "Kezia." One of the guys says, "Oh my God, why don't you just sleep with her already? Get it over with." The men start laughing and Dave says, "Well, I'll tell you one thing." Then out of nowhere, they start getting shot at by a group of Vipers in the woods.
Oh, damn. Ah.
They try to take control, but the Vipers run them right off the road and down a big hill. The car flips about 5 times until it finally
Damn.
stops, but we don't know if Dave and his men have survived. Then we see one of the Vipers has a huge smile on his face and says, "Let's go see if there's any that remains."
Damn. Wow, what a crazy scene to Corn's spine. Holy shit. Jesus.
The next morning, Lincoln, Sidney, and Luke have pulled over for a bit. We see the Viper that they have prisoner is up against a tree, and we see Lincoln and Sidney walk up to him. Sidney says, "Remember me, asshole?" The man looks at her with a smile and says, "How the fuck can I forget, you crazy-ass bitch?" Lincoln looks at the man dead in the eyes and says,
Damn.
"Don't worry about her. I mean, if I were you, I'd be probably worrying about how my sorry ass was going to get out of this one." The Viper says, I would already be a failure to my queen for even getting captured like this. I'm as good as dead anyway. So just do what you're gonna do there, cowboy. Lincoln says, well, good then. Let's get to work. And we see him pull out his machete, and we see Sydney behind him has him covered, and has her gun pointed towards the Viper.
Oh.
Lincoln says, now look, I'm not here to hurt you, all right? We're all adults here, and I would appreciate the cooperation if I may get it from you. The Viper says, you are all dead people walking, living out here in the wild. You'll either die of starvation, or our queen will end you the second she looks at you. Sydney asks, yes. So this queen, this one in charge, how close here might she be? The Viper says, you're gonna have to try a little harder than that, cowboy. Lincoln says, you know what? That is a great idea. And he gets Sydney to untie one of his hands, and he asks, what the hell are you doing? Lincoln takes his machete, and the Viper panics. And Lincoln slices his hand off, and he screams out in pain. Lincoln takes his hand off, and the Viper passes out. Lincoln starts walking away and says, when the pussy wakes up, give me a holler.
Damn. Fucking savage. Oh man, wow. That's crazy. Cuts off his hand. Damn. Well, so much for having two hands.
Back with Dave. Dave wakes up in the crashed truck. His leg looks a bit messed up, and he's got a few bruises. We can hear the Vipers are on their way back. He's rushing to get out of the truck, but as he's escaping, we see that everyone in the truck is dead. But only one of his men is still alive, and looks to be hurt. Dave is trying to hurry and escape, but he notices his last soldier begging for help. Please, help me, boss. Help me. Dave is trying to get him out, and he's about to get him. Dave is about to try to get him out of there, but he hears the Vipers are coming, and Dave looks at him with a cold look in his eye and says, why would I save you? You're my ticket out. And Dave leaves him and runs into the woods before the Vipers get down there. And we see Dave running into the woods, and he quickly tries to get away. And we hear his man yelling from far, you rot in hell, you fucking prick!
Ha! Damn. Ha! Fucking bastard. Bastard ass bitch gets away. Why does he always be the lucky one?
Dave is running through the woods as fast as he can, and he hears Vipers are following him from behind. He runs into an old cemetery to try to hide from them.
Crazy.
Dave rushes into the cemetery, and it's very foggy out, so he can't really see where he is. All we can hear is deadheads approaching him from inside the cemetery, but he doesn't know what direction they're coming from. Then a big crowd of them come up behind Dave. Dave takes out his knife and starts taking them out, one after another. We see the bodies fall all around him, and we see Dave is covered in blood. And then he kills the last deadhead that wasn't quite dead yet. Then he tries to escape this cemetery, and he gets to the gate, but the gate is stuck. He tries to open it, but it just won't go. He hears the Vipers are coming not far behind him, so he tries to rush and make it out. As we reveal, Chris is with the group of Vipers, and he is following Dave. As Dave narrowly makes it out of the cemetery, we have Chris and the Vipers chasing after him.
Damn. Tense.
Dave runs as fast as he can into a long cornfield in order to escape from the Vipers. Dave slowly walks into the cornfield. We hear the sound of footsteps, and Dave is slowly trying to find his way out of this field. We hear Chris and the men walk out of the cemetery, and they see the cornfield. Chris says to his men,
"All right, gentlemen, split up and find this son of a bitch. Between all of us, we'll find him no problem."
Jesus Christ.
Dave is trying to find his way out. Out of nowhere, a deadhead attacks him and he quickly pulls out his knife and kills him. Chris and his men scatter, and Chris says, "It's over! Your people are dead! If I was you, I would face my fears." Dave then stops and listens to the man's voice. Flashback to the beginning. Chris says, "I actually know your wife. She works down at the pharmacy downtown, right?" Dave says, "Yeah, her name is Linda." We zoom in on Chris's face. "Oh, I know her well." Currently, Dave recognizes his voice. Chris says, "There's an ending for you. That time is now." Dave looks angry, but out of nowhere, one of the Vipers tackles Dave to the ground. The Viper takes his knife off at him and tries to stab him, but not before Dave headbutts him, and the man goes down. Then Dave picks his knife back off the ground and puts it directly in the Viper's throat. He then takes the Viper's machine gun that he had and loads it, and notices it still has a half a clip. He clicks the gun and walks off to go kill Chris.
Oh, wow. Tense.
Back with Lincoln. 3 hours later, the Viper wakes up, still by the tree. Sydney walks up to him and says, "Well, you asked for this. I truly don't know what else I can tell you." The Viper, still in pain, says, "Not everything works out for everyone, sunshine." Sydney takes her knife out and holds it to his throat and says, "That's right. Not everything works out for everyone. So you can run your mouth all you want. Just remember, you're the dead man, and I'm the one holding the knife." The Viper says, "I'm never gonna give up my queen. So tell your friend there that he can do whatever he wants to me. Maybe I won't die as the loser that got myself captured. I'll die as the man that lost limbs to protect my queen. And I'm willing to die for her." Sydney looks mad, and she removes the knife from his neck and walks up to the RV with Lincoln and Luke. Back with Dave. We see Dave is running through the field with the machine gun. He's killing a bunch of Vipers, and he kills most of them with the machine gun. Chris is hearing this from a distance, and he radios his men. "Tony, did you find the last straggler? Tony, do you copy? Felix, is anyone there?" Chris looks slightly panicked as none of his men are responding to him. He then slowly takes out his pistol and starts walking down the field. The gunfire has stopped. The screams seem to be gone. As we see Chris walking down a dark field, he can barely tell what's in front of him because of all the fog. Chris then discovers a massacre of his people that were shot up. And when Chris sees this, he starts laughing out loud.
Huh.
Out of nowhere, we hear a gun clicking behind Chris, and we hear Dave's voice.
Oh shit.
Turn around, asshole.
And as he slowly turns around, we see Dave standing there with his gun pointed towards Chris, and Dave says, "Well, shit. I fucked up. I thought I could let go. Unfortunately for you, you also fucked up. But even though we both fucked up, and this whole situation is fucked up, you still fucked up." Chris laughs and says, "Fucking Dave Miller. How the hell are you?" Dave says, "I thought you were dead. I should have known the world as we know it would protect you. I should have. But as my father always told me, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy." And Dave pulls the trigger. The gun is empty. Chris quickly slaps the gun out of Dave's hand and tackles him to the ground.
What
Chris
the
starts
hell?
beating the crap out of Dave. Dave at the right moment headbutts Chris, and Chris falls, but then quickly pulls a small knife and stabs Dave in the leg, and leaves the knife in his leg. Dave screams. Dave very quickly pulls the knife out of his leg and gets back up and picks up the empty gun off the ground and starts beating Chris's face in, over and over again. Chris eventually punches Dave off of him, and then Dave falls to his back and grabs the knife, and he sees Chris is still down on the ground, and he quickly goes up to him. Chris tries to get up, but not before Dave slices Chris's hand off. Dave laughs as he does this and says, "Well, shit, look at you now. I think this world has finally let you die." Dave is about to finish Chris off, when out of nowhere, 4 more Vipers come out of the field with guns. Dave sees them and tries to run as they shoot at him, but Dave gets away.
Damn.
We see Chris on the ground, and he's lost so much blood that he's unconscious. One of the Vipers named Matthew says, "We gotta kill that son of a bitch. Come on, he couldn't have gotten far." Another Viper stops him and says, "Our leader could die. Look, we take him back and make sure we still have a leader, goddammit, and then we find him." Matthew looks kind of pissed, but he says, "Fine. Can't believe we followed this prick when we could have used the opportunity to join her." The Viper says, "Someday. Now come on, let's get him back." Back with Lincoln. Sydney says he's awake. We see Lincoln sharpening his knife. "That's good." Sydney looks at Luke and says, "Look, I know it's a risk, but I just need a little bit more time." Lincoln asks, "What'd you find out, huh?" Sydney says, "Just that apparently the rule is, he gets captured, you're looked at as useless to the Queen. The man told me that he's as good as dead and that I can do whatever I want, but it's still not going to change anything. No matter what, he says he wants to die. Go out as a hero that loses limbs just to protect his queen. That's all I know so far." Lincoln angrily sticks his knife into a log and says, "Well, that's the end of it." Sydney says, "Look, just a little bit more time. I can break him, trust me. Just give me a little bit more time." Lincoln slowly walks up to Sydney with a cold look in his eyes and says, "Your time's up," and walks towards the prisoner and shoots him right in the throat and watches him die.
Damn. Goodbye.
Sydney slowly walks up to Lincoln and says, "We gonna leave him here?" Lincoln says, "He said it himself. No one's trying to find him." And he walks back up to the RV and says to Sydney, "Take him. We'll leave him up by the main road where they'll find him."
I don't need no errand boy.
Damn.
back at the factory. Chris has been patched up and he's barely on his feet. But as he walks out, we see Chris with now only one hand, and he says to his people that are all gathered together, Today was a day we'll never forget. When those murderers out there killed us, and the ones that survived barely got out alive. They took my hand. They took some lives, but they did not destroy us. They will never destroy what we built and what we stand for. The Queen, she made me a leader of this place because she saw a leader. She said she believed in me. Do you all believe in me? Chris has a sad look on his face, and then the crowd cheers. Chris's face lights up and he says, well, with all that being said, and all the Vipers still being who they are, let's finish this.
Ha! Yeah.
We see Haley in the cell, and Chris slowly walks up to the cell door, and Haley says, I must say, nice job. Chris laughs and says, what? Haley says, you're throwing a pity party, making them feel sorry for you just so they'll still stand by your side and protect you. Chris says, you've been quiet and not raising any hell. Frankly, I don't care anymore. It's time. It's time for you to know the truth. Haley looks scared and Chris says, I killed your children. I took all their limbs off while they were still alive. They felt it. They were crying for their mommy. And once I made sure they couldn't get away, I took both of their heads off, along with the rest of the nice residents. Also, by the way, I might add, nice people. I put their heads up on the trees to make Lincoln know he should have listened when he had the chance. You wanted to know. Well, now you do. And your husband? He's next. Haley starts screaming at Chris, and she starts breaking down. Chris starts walking away, and he turns around at a broken mother and says, This is the next world, Haley. I sure hope you live long enough to see it. And Chris walks out of the cell with a big smile on his face.
Insane, bro. Insane. Insanity, bro. Disgusting on so many ways.
Lincoln is driving, and Sydney says, right here is far enough. Lincoln gets out and throws the Viper's body out, and Lincoln says, let's make sure these pricks have to clean up the mess. And Lincoln takes out his machete and throws the Viper's dead body on the picnic table and slices its head off. Sydney and Luke are just standing back as Lincoln laughs and says, when the Vipers show up, and then we hear the sound of a flashlight clicking. And they all turn around to see it's Dave. He slowly steps out of the woods, watching Lincoln holding a severed head in his hand. And Dave says, Lincoln West, we have a lot to talk about.
Oh, shit. That's the end, isn't it? Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy, bro. Alright, so that was episode 9. Very good episode. 8.5 out of 10. It's very, very good. Very solid. It was cool. You went in a little bit more backstory with Dave. I feel bad for the mother. She finally found out about her kids. That's insane. That's insanity. I can't imagine, truly. Especially the way he explained it. That's just insane. Ooh. Oh, Lincoln getting payback on the Viper. That was cool. I like that part. Cutting off the head, all that, and shoot him in the head. Badass. Of course, didn't get a lot out of him, but, crazy ass cliffhanger to end off Dave. Excuse me. Running into Lincoln and Sydney and his crew there that he has. Just as he did that. That's crazy. So crazy. Insanity, it really is. So I'm going to this is a first. I don't usually do this, or actually I don't think I've ever done this. But I'm going to put this sucker into 2 parts. And the second part will be episode 10. And I'll do that right when I get up. So, as you can tell, I'm struggling. I'm trying, but it's not. It's not working for me. So, I'm gonna do that idea by getting some sleep and then waking up early instead, and then continuing to grind that way. So that way, then I have more energy. So that is what I'm going to do. Like I said, the 10-hour days are just exhausting. They're just very tiring. And I do want to keep the grind going for you guys, but I don't want to be sitting here passing out. Excuse me. While doing the reactions with you guys and everything like that, you know what I mean? I want to be fully invested in it, you know what I mean? All that good stuff. So, and I want to be, you know what I mean, fully interactive with you guys, etc. I can't really do that when I'm barely struggling to stay awake. Obviously, but it was a very good episode, though. Very good. I paid attention. Even if I didn't have my eyes open, because it's mainly a listening anyway. But I was completely 100% listening all the way through. Yeah, it was very, very, very good. Very good episode. Like I said, 8.5 out of 10. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the chat or the comment section below. But smash that like button, would appreciate it. I'm gonna put part 1, and then part 2 will be episode 10. So yeah, that's gonna be the kind of the scoop. Smash the like, subscribe, guys. I do appreciate it. Like I said, gonna get some sleep, wake up early, and we should be able to continue the grind. So remember, I got some fire ass streams coming up here. So, yeah. So that is the scoop. So, Dan reviews the channel and playlist in the description. Check them out, show them some love, all credit goes down. And thank you for the new subscribers yet again. I'll see you guys in a little bit. We're ready to sign out. Peace. Have a good one, guys. Watch us.